Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Last couple days I've discussed a few teams, Orioles, White Sox. I'm actually getting a few views on those, more than I thought, so I want to thank everybody for that. But today, we're going to discuss another team. That's the Texas Rangers. You can see my very patriotic Rangers baseball that I have. I actually don't have a regular one. This is the Rangers baseball that I have. I got this. I went to a Rangers game against the Astros. It was the 3rd of July, but the Rangers traveled to Boston the next day, so they were kind of doing some 4th of July stuff that day. It was July 3rd, 2023, and the Rangers were trailing the Astros 10-2 at one point. They came back, took an 11-10 lead, and then the Astros scored 2 runs in the top of the 9th inning, and the Astros ended up winning. It was a really good game, probably one of the best games I've been to. But that's not the point today. We're going to talk about the Rangers in 2025. That was 2 years ago. That year, the Rangers won the World Series. They faced the Astros in the ALCS and beat them in 7 games. And then they defeat the Diamondbacks. We're going to talk about the Rangers in 2025. They had a disappointing year last year. World Series hangover, perhaps. But we're going to talk about them this year. I'd say probably another maybe disappointing year. But we'll get into it. First of all, here you go. Rangers are 66-66. All sixes. 500 record. They're coming off of a 3-game sweep against the Guardians. They're 6.5 games back of the division, 4.5 back of the wild card. Astros don't play today, so whatever, if the Rangers win, they'll be 6 games back. If they lose, they'll be 7 back. Mariners do play today. They play against the Padres, so maybe Rangers can, if they win and the Mariners lose, they get a game closer. But nonetheless, this is probably not where a lot of people expected the Rangers to be. Before the season started, I feel like a lot of people were choosing the Rangers to make the playoffs. And I think that a lot of people thought their offense was going to be really good and their pitching was going to be not so good. But it's been the opposite of that. I remember a YouTuber named Draftneck Mark who even said that he had like a bold prediction where the Rangers hit the most home runs ever. That hasn't happened. I don't know if he had it or if he was reading somebody, because I know he does a hot take series where he reads other people's hot takes. I don't know if he said that, but needless to say, whoever made that prediction, it's not going so well for the Rangers on offense. But they're still in it because of their pitching. And we're going to discuss their pitching and why, despite having a very, very good rotation, best rotation in baseball, one of the better rotations I can remember, and the Mariners had a really good rotation last year, why they might be the 2024 Mariners 2.0 and they might still miss the playoffs despite having, despite having such a great rotation. So my next card, here's the Rangers starters. I'll put it up close if you want to read it. Feel free to pause if you want, but I will be reading off of this and talking a little bit about it. So if you want to read it, sure. If not, I'm going to read off of it. So Rangers rotation, great performers all around the board. Jacob deGrom, 2.76 ERA in 141 innings pitched, 141 in the third. That's what the number is in parentheses, and I realized I didn't label it, so that's my bad. But that 140 in parentheses is the innings pitched. And deGrom, he's very talented. He was one of, if not the best pitchers on the planet when he was pitching for the Mets. Big problem with deGrom is he hasn't been able to stay healthy, and he got hurt in the middle of 23. I think he had Tommy John surgery, and he didn't come back until late 24. This is the first year in a Rangers uniform that he's been super healthy. And what was funny is there was a guy for, it was like the Mets post game. His name was I think it was Sal Licata. He said that deGrom didn't care about winning because he went to the Rangers. First of all, Mets haven't won any World Series in about 45 years. Second of all, even though he wasn't a part of that he was a part of the team. He wasn't a part of that playoff run. Rangers won the World Series the first year deGrom was there. So that didn't age very well. But deGrom has the talent. Everyone knows that. It's just a matter of staying healthy or not. Nathan Eovaldi, Cy Young contender, I would say. 1.73 ERA, very minuscule ERA, very skinny ERA. 130 innings pitched. He has spent some time on the IL this year, but I think that if he can if he makes every single start and he still pitches great, then he could have a chance to win the Cy Young despite spending some time on the IL. I looked up the least amount of starts for a Cy Young winner, or at least amount of games pitched in for a Cy Young winner. I found guys like Trevor Bauer, Shane Bieber, they won the Cy Youngs in 2020. They only had 11 or 12 starts. And then guys from the 94 strike season, guys from the 81 strike season. But I finally found Kershaw in 2014, who started 27 games. I think Eovaldi will be on pace to start 28 right now. So he's somewhere around Kershaw. And I think that if he has a 1.73 ERA or lower, and he makes the starts for the rest of the year, he 100% deserves at least a little bit of Cy Young talk. I know Crochet is good. I know Hunter Brown's good. I know that Skubal is good, but I think Eovaldi has been very good this year. Jack Leiter, 3.1 ERA. I'd say an ERA below 4 is good, and I think Leiter has been pretty good this year. 115 and 2/3 innings. Merrill Kelly, only 29 innings pitched with the Rangers this year. He's a really good pitcher who pitched for the Diamondbacks for many years. And he got traded at the deadline, 3.10 ERA in those 29 innings. And then Tyler Mahle, 2.34 ERA, 77 innings pitched. And Malle's been on the IL since June 11th. But, first 2-3 months of the season, he was a big performer for the Rangers. And some of these people, I would say they weren't, some of these players, I'd say they weren't expected to perform well. DeGrom has a talent, just a question if he stays healthy. Eovaldi, maybe people thought he got old. But Tyler Mahle was absolutely a surprise, I would say. And so was Patrick Corbin. Now, there's a reason why I didn't have Corbin on this list. 4.61 ERA, in 123 innings pitched. Last 4 starts, not very good. 11.4 ERA in 13 innings. I don't think he's made it out of the 4th inning in his last 4 starts. He's looking like a bit of a weak spot in the Rangers rotation. Kumar Rocker hasn't been very good either this year, but the Rangers have talent in the rotation top to bottom, and I don't think a lot of people expected this. Again, people probably expected DeGrom to be good. People probably thought Eovaldi would be pretty good. Not this good, but pretty good. But yeah, this rotation keeps the Rangers in almost every single game. Again, Corbin struggled a little bit, but he was even pitching very well. And I kind of didn't know how long that would last because Corbin's a guy who hasn't really been good since 2019, since like before COVID. So I didn't think that would last very long, and I'm kind of been proven right. Like I said, last 4 starts, he's been in a little bit of a funk. But you're probably thinking, with all these good pitchers, how come the Rangers are 4.5 games out of a wild card and 6.5 games out of the division? That's easy. Their hitting is taking a big step back, and I got some more cards to show you. I'll put this up close for you to read their slash lines. Again, feel free to pause it if you want, but I will read these to you and talk a little bit about the players. Okay. Some guys that I'm sure Rangers fans are very disappointed in. Marcus Semien, 230 average, 305 on base, 364 slugging. An on-base percentage, I would say below 300 is not very good. I mean, I think it's pretty bad. And Semien has 305, so he's barely above 300. In 127 games, 95 OPS plus. Semien was really good in 23 and in 22, but he was not good last year. He might be getting a little old. And maybe Rangers fans are a little nervous about that because they do have him under contract, I think, through 2028. So that could be 3 more years of Semien getting a lot of money but being below average. He did just go on the IL with a broken foot, so it's the first time he's been on the IL since, I think, his Oakland days. But yeah, 127 games. Semien has definitely been disappointing for the Rangers for a second consecutive year. Adolis Garcia, also disappointing for a second consecutive year. 225 average, 270 on base, 396 slugging. I found out yesterday, thanks to an MLB Instagram account called The Worst MLB, I think it was called. 270 average for Adolis is the lowest on-base percentage for any qualified batter. Now, qualified batter means that they've had 3.1 plate appearances for every game. The reason why they have qualifications is because they don't want stats where, like, a guy who is got a hit in his only plate appearance, is 1 for 1 with a 1,000 batting average, so he wins the batting title. No, they don't want that. They want guys who qualify, and if guys who qualify, Adolis at 270 is the lowest on-base percentage. Again, very disappointing for a guy who looked so good in 2023. He almost single-handedly, it felt like, destroyed the Astros in the 2023 ALCS. In 118 games, the OPS plus is 92. Again, very disappointing. Josh Young, all-star in 23, and he was 4th in Rookie of the Year voting. This year, a little bit below average. 242 average, 291 on base. There's the low on base percentage again. 380 slugging in 101 games, 95 OPS plus. Not very good. Jonah Heim. He was never a really great hitter, but he was about average in the 2023 season where the Rangers won the World Series. And, he's always been a good fielding catcher. I remember he wasn't very good last year, but he was very good at the catcher position for 23 and years before that. 224 average, 271 on base, so his on base percentage, he's like 0.001% above Adolis. So these are like two of the lowest on base percentage guys in baseball. 343 slugging, 101 not 101 OPS plus, sorry, 101 games played, 79 OPS plus. I think definitely disappointing. 79 OPS plus, especially if you're not a very good catcher, which I'm not sure how good he's been as a catcher this year. I know he was struggling behind the plate last year. 79 OPS plus, I'm sure, is very disappointing. It's a borderline unplayable when you're hitting. And then a couple of free agent acquisitions have not been good either. Berger, 242 average, 275 on base. Does have a good slugging percentage, 416. He is hitting for power. In 84 games, he has a 99 OPS plus. That's good. He was struggling so much that he got sent down to the minors and earlier this year. Come back up, played better. Josh Young got sent down to the minors also to Round Rock. I actually saw him play in a game a few months ago. But for a guy who hit 28, 30 home runs, that has to be disappointing. Last but not least, Joc Pederson. Joc Pederson has had some clutch hits for the Rangers recently. He had a walk-off double against the Guardians on Friday when this is filmed. He also had a game-tying solo home run in the 9th inning against the Yankees a few weeks ago. But overall, and he is finding his swing more, but overall 162 average, 279 on base, 308 slugging, 72 OPS plus in 70 games. Definitely disappointing for Joc Pederson, a guy who was said in the beginning of the year they're going to take down the Astros from the top of the AL West. Now, they have already taken down the Astros in the playoffs, but the Astros have done, they've won the Silver Boot Series like 7 or 8 years in a row, and they win the division every single year besides 2020. That's what he was referring to. And not only have the Rangers not done that, but he has performed really bad, like one of the worst hitters in baseball, just period. And a lot of these guys are disappointing, like I said. Marcus Semien, Adolis Garcia, Josh Young, those are 3 guys who were key in that lineup that performed so well in 2023. Again, Heim, it was a pretty good 9-hitter. He was about average that year, but still, 79 OPS plus, that's not going to cut it in the major leagues. And then Berger and Pederson, those were 2 guys who they added, and fans were like, the Rangers are going to be really good offensively. And I was honestly on that same train, I don't think that I expected them to win 100 games like some people did, or I didn't expect them, like I said, drafting Mark, who said they're going to have the most home runs for a team in a single season in baseball history. I didn't expect that, but I thought, okay, they're probably going to win the division or be a top wildcard team. But these guys have just not been performing, and that's the Rangers' big problem, their offense. If this team's offense is league average, they make the playoffs easily. They might win the division, considering how much the Astros and Mariners have shot themselves in the foot. And Semien, who's on the IL now, Garcia, Young, Heim, Berger, Pederson, they just have not been performing. I don't want this to be negative to end. So to end, I'll give you some good Rangers. Some Rangers, here's again, you can pause if you want to see it. Some Rangers whose offense has been good. Corey Seager, unsurprisingly, we know how good Corey Seager is, one of the best hitting shortstops in the game. 269 average, 369 on base, 473 slugging, 145 OPS plus. Big problem with Seager is health. Spent two stints on the IL. They weren't very long stints, but still 2 stints on the IL is, usually want 1 or 0. Well, we want 0, but you usually want to limit it to 1. Only 99 games played. Well, he's in the lineup, very good. Wyatt Langford, 248 average, 338 on base, 437 slugging, 110 games played, 125 OPS plus. I feel like we haven't seen the best that we possibly can from Wyatt Langford. I think he's performed very well, especially for being a 22-year-old. 22 last year, 23 this year. I feel like he's performed very well at the majors, and he's definitely, compared to those numbers of the other guys, you definitely take 125 OPS plus. That's definitely good. But I feel like there's more potential for Wyatt Langford to unlock is the point. Carter, Evan Carter was a big question mark this year. Had a really good stretch when he came up in the majors in late September of 23 and in the postseason. Last year, he hurt his back and he performed pretty badly for 45 games. This year in 60 games, he also started the year in the minors. 247 average, 336 slugging, 392 on base, 113 OPS plus, definitely take that. Like I said, that's the Carter that we saw potential of in late 2023. Josh Smith, who I personally think should have been an all-star over Marcus Semien last year, 256 average, 332 on base, 380 slugging, 119 games, 108 OPS plus, a little bit low, just above average. But Josh Smith, a good part of that lineup. And then Rowdy Tellez. I wanted to include Rowdy because I think he's on a hot streak that he cannot sustain. 283 average, 353 on base, 533 slugging, 155 OPS plus in 25 games. Tellez, I mean, he's been in the majors for about 8 years now. We have seen, he has bounced around from team to team. We have seen some success from him, but also I don't think that we've seen this amount of success from him. Baseball is a funny game. Teams go on hot streaks when they aren't super good. They go on cold streaks when they're not really bad. And players do the same. And Tellez has been a big contributor for the Rangers in August of 2025. Can he keep this up and perform this well in September or the postseason if the Rangers are able to make the postseason? I really don't think so, but I have been wrong before. And he is performing pretty well right now. So we'll see. Overall, here's what you should take away from the Rangers. I mentioned Semien. Contract could be an albatross, especially in 27 and 28. All these guys have had really good years or better years than they had in their career in 2023. Will they make it back to that high? Possibly not. But is Semien's albatross worth the World Series? Yes. Is these bad years worth the World Series? Yes. It might suck for Rangers fans now, but longtime Rangers fans, they were one of the laughing stocks of baseball. They had a lot of heartbreak. I maintained the 2011 World Series. That's the biggest heartbreak in baseball history. One strike away twice from winning in Game 6. And David Freese, 2 RBI triple, Lance Berkman, RBI single in the 10th to keep the game going multiple times. David Freese walk-off home run. Probably, again, in my opinion, the biggest heartbreak in baseball history. Rangers fans, they don't have to think about that now. Now they got a World Series in pretty recent view. It might not be good right now, but they are able to stay there on top. And, no matter what happens in 25 or 26 or 27 or 28 with Semien or Garcia or Josh Young or Seager or whoever, they will always be World Series champions. Banners fly forever. I mean, even the 2017 banner, nobody likes that one. But no matter what, it seems like banners fly forever, especially ones like the Rangers, where they had a great offense and pitching locked it down at the right time. So hope everybody enjoyed this video. It was a super long video. I have started school. I started today as my first day. So if I look a little tired, that's probably why. Tuesdays and Thursdays are not going to be fun for me. Like I said, I'm going to be at school for like 10, 11 hours, maybe even more than that. So I will probably film some easy videos tonight and then upload them tomorrow while I'm at school. The MLB schedule comes out tomorrow. So maybe tomorrow if I get home, I'm going to get home late. It might be dark outside when I get home. But I might talk about when teams play each other, like when the Red Sox and Yankees play each other, Cubs, Cardinals, Padres, Dodgers. And I might talk about special games. I also might make a list of stadiums I want to visit. But I hope everybody enjoyed this video. I had fun making it. I think the Rangers are a very interesting team. And I hope everybody joins me again for another video tomorrow or whenever. Goodbye.